Dan.
Morning, Bruce. Or afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Dan. I'm doing terrific.
How's vacation week as a dad?
Cole had a 3-on-3 hockey tournament this morning. They went 1-on-1. So I don't know what that means, other than they got a few more to go. It's quiet. That's it.
It's good. Just a thought on watching the Winter Classic at Fenway last night. It was replayed on NESN, and to watch some of the players, see Bergeron and see David Krejci in particular. Just your thoughts on what you've seen from David, from the first time you've seen him to where you see him now, and how reliable he's been and what he's done for the Boston Bruins.
Well, it's interesting you'd say that, because I remember I was in Providence with Rob Murray. I was the assistant, and Rob had I think, both those players as an assistant coach, I think, to Scott Gordon. And we used to have that discussion, who would be the better centerman down the road. The Krejci was more smooth and kind of the playmaking guy back then, or Bergie, the two-way guy. And you could still have it, right? Pretty good careers for both of them to this day, and still functioning well. So I just thought it's funny you say that, because it was probably about that time we had it. And at the end of the day, David's he's a good pro, terrific pro, shows up to work every day, takes care of himself, seems to step up in the bigger moments, always been a great playoff performer. Quieter, but I can't say enough good things about him. Like him a lot. Been a big part of the Bruins team for years here. And because he's quiet, it's probably a little more under the radar than maybe some of the other guys, but still just as important.
Is he one of the more selfless players you've had?
Yes, I think he is. He just goes to work. He's low maintenance for me. I know there's a certain style he likes to play. That would be the only area that, I guess, as a coach, sometimes you'd be like, that's just who he is. And he's played, and I think every player has that. Marshy has his own style. Z had his. Bergie, everybody does, and he's been very successful with it. So yes, absolutely.
Go next to Steve Conroy.
Hey, Bruce. Just want to follow up on Lindholm leaving the team. Was it just a matter of a dwindling opportunity for him, or homesickness, or what was it?
Who's that, Lindholm?
Lindholm, yeah.
Yeah, he had a baby, I think, just before I went in the bubble or just after. I know we had a few on the team, so I know it was around there. So I think being away from his family was tough on him, to get motivated to practice every day, knowing that he was an extra guy, may or may not get in. I talked to him on Sunday about it, and that was basically his feeling. And I told him, I said, listen, Par, and we were honest with him from day one. When he came here, we said, listen, we're going to look at some younger guys. We're trying to get, a little bit of a different mix. And I said, Freddie's a guy that, he's put in his time in Providence, and he's a bigger body, a different style than you, and we're going to give him a chance. So it's going to come at, the expense of you, especially when you don't get an opportunity to get through exhibition games to see, if a player's progressed or whatnot. So, and he knew that up front, was not disappointed in us in any way. He just felt that to get motivated every day to practice was hard for him when he missed his family back home. So that was his decision, and we respected it. We lose some depth, Steve, and a good guy. He's low maintenance. He came and worked hard, but we have McKegg, and maybe there's an opportunity for another guy in Providence down the road to step into that role if need be.
And just any better idea whether Zaboral and or Grzelcyk would be available Thursday?
I don't believe either one will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We'll go next to Kevin Dupont.
I've got a question on the outdoor game, but Bruce, but I'd like to touch back on your Krejci comment there. Every player has his playing DNA. So if I'm going to guess there that maybe there are times you wish David were more of a shooter rather than the playmaker. Is that where you're going there?
Yeah, a little bit. And, sometimes he'll want to, come back and counter more, like the old school where you regroup and slow the game down and then speed it up. Right. Yeah. Well, there's sometimes in a game I'd rather just say, let's play a little faster this period. Let's go on. Let's get behind them and more straight lines. And that would be the only times that we'll talk about it and say, maybe instead of circling back, let's just, sort of tight turn and get going, get the deep push into pace. And then the shooting versus passing, I leave that up to him, Kevin. He's been around had too much success for me to start dictating the offensive side of it. I trust him to make the right decision. So yeah, that's probably the only time. And when we'll talk about line mates a lot, you know, because he's had a lot of them, but also, you know, there's certain things he looks for in a line mate. So we try to discuss it too, to see what the best fit is for him with, you know, kind of with it without, you know, sort of going outside of what we want to do as a staff here as well. So.
Okay. And thank you. And the outdoor game, you had Notre Dame. There were, I don't know how many people, 60,000 people at Notre Dame. You'll go now and there'll be no one at the side of Lake Tahoe. You've become somewhat proficient in having empty buildings, but what's that going to mean? Is that going to be weird, you think? Is that going to be a challenge? Well,
I think one of the reasons they picked this spot, honestly, and I've been looking at some of the stuff online, you know, I guess the NHL.com or whatever it is that has, you know, they're just showing the rink being built. I think they picked this spot for the views, honestly. I think we'll be looking around at mountains, at a lake. So it's a perfect spot if you can't have fans, right? And noise and the normal, you know, sort of stuff that goes along with that. I mean, in Notre Dame, certainly you're looking at touchdown Jesus and you're looking at, you know, the institution, but, you know, the fans, you know, obviously that many are looking around as the attraction. This, I think it's going to be more nature, to be honest with you. So I think it's a good call by them to sort of build that part of it in. You know, you know, when you can have fans. So then for us, once the puck drops, I think we're getting very used to not having fans in the building, just the way it is, Kevin. Everyone adapts, players adapt quickly. So that part of it, I don't think will be as big a deal, maybe, as especially in this, like I said, with the scenery there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go next to Sophia.
Bruce, I'm sorry. I really hope I'm not wrong, but I didn't see Craig Smith out on the ice. I'm not sure if you mentioned yesterday that he was going to be off. I know the goaltenders were just resting. Was this a maintenance day for him, or did I miss something?
No, that's correct. It was optional skills. We told the guys that yesterday. If someone had some bumps and bruises, most of the guys felt good. I think they wanted that type of practice. It's a lot of fun stuff. It's goal scoring. It's working on your hands. So it was entirely Craig's choice. I saw him this morning. He looked fine. So I have a feeling maybe he might have had just something that, you know, he wanted to just stay off for a day and be ready to go tomorrow. So I suspect that he'll be 100% ready to go Thursday, be with us tomorrow in practice. Goalies went out early, did a goalie practice with Bob. So they got their work in, you know, sort of more specific for them. And then Cal came out and took the lion's share of the shots today.
Is he okay, or do you have an update on him?
Yeah, he got it in the collarbone area. I saw him walking around. Yeah, he's okay. It was only Crowley's shot, Sophia, so he's fine.
Thank you.
Don't write that.
Thank you.
With his game where it's at, you know, and again, we're talking about the personality there, and he's, I guess, one of a little bit more eccentric players across the league. How do you see him, you know, embracing new challenges, sort of like what he's about to do here in the next week or so?
I think he loves it. I think David is a great personality for hockey. A lot of the guys are a little more workmanlike, and that's just the business we're in, right? I think it just it seems like, you know, for whatever reason, hockey is just more that way. You lose a bit of that ability. You got a helmet on the ice. You know what I mean? You're just less opportunity to be seen. It's and David has kind of built it into us and the Bruins and himself to be have a little more personality. I think that's grown over the last 5-10 years. You're seeing it with some of these younger guys. I see it with Matthews periodically. So I think it's good for the game. I think anything that helps sell the game, any individuals, especially elite talents like David, to help sell the game, I think is awesome. Personally, I think it's good to have some different personalities. We miss it when he doesn't have it. Last week, he didn't seem to be himself. I think it showed on the ice. So I kind of miss him. You know, like you can always hear him in the hallways, in the dressing room, a very popular teammate. He's just a kid that comes to the rink every day with, well, I guess not a kid anymore, a man that comes to the rink every day with a smile on his face and a passion for the game. So I personally, I don't know if he could have 20 of them, just not the way the world works, but it's great having him around, great having Marshy around. The two of them chirp each other. You know, and you have some quieter guys in the room. So like I said, it's good to have.